So I actually called the company. You guys have a great product, but it would be better if it absorbed the fluid, if it could keep the fluid in, because the removal is just too messy. And they really blew me off. They were just like, yeah, no, our product's good the way it is. And so I decided to create it myself.
Hey, it's your girl Nancy Red, and this is season 4 of Mompreneurs, where we celebrate beautiful Black entrepreneurs who are also amazing moms. Now, every week I'm chatting with my guests about how they're killing it simultaneously as a business mogul and as a mom. We're listening to their inspiring journeys and incredible advice. And I love this week's guest. She is a menstruating mompreneur. She's a Black femtech innovator reshaping menstrual care with compassion, integrity, and grit. And anybody who knows me knows I love a bodily fluid, and Chanté Knox obviously loves them too. She is the founder and CEO of Deliver Fem Care, and their flagship product is the Anew Clean Cup, which is a disposable menstrual disc, which is designed specifically for women with heavy clot-prone cycles. Now, some of you might be listening like, what's a disc? What is this? You're going to find out so much about one of my favorite topics, women's health. Now, Chanté's journey started with lived experience. She would bleed through these Super Plus tampons and overnight pads in under 90 minutes, and I'm so excited to talk with her about the Anew Clean Cup. Welcome, Chanté.
Thank you so much, Nancy. It's really great to be here.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited because I love a good period conversation in my entire life. The books I write are about women's health. So thank you for your innovation and bringing these issues, not just of we need more products in the market to light, but also like a lot of us are dealing with really heavy periods.
Yeah, mine came from lived experience. I didn't just wake up one day and say, I'm going to be an inventor. I was tired of bleeding through, and a friend of mine introduced me to another disposable disc, and I instantly fell in love with the collection capacity because I was like, wow, I could go 4 hours. Ordinarily I was able to go an hour and a half, 2 hours tops. So I was able to go 4 hours without bleeding through or leaking. But then when I went to remove it, it was like a scene from a horror story. So I was just like, no, the messy removal was too much for me. I was happy that I wasn't at home, but I thought, what if I had been in a public restroom? I would have probably been frozen in that, in that stall, scared to come out with fluids all over me. So I actually called the company. I found their president's number, and I called the company. I was like, hey, you guys have a great product, but it would be better if it, absorbed the fluid, if it could keep the fluid in, because the removal is just too messy. And they really blew me off. They were just like, yeah, no, our product's good the way it is. And so I decided to create it myself.
I love it. When you gave them a shot, now here you are. And how many patents do you hold on this product?
I have 3 issued patents and 2 patents pending.
That's incredible. And so basically, now that you're to market with this product, it's yours. But before we get a little bit more into the business side of your mompreneurship, let's talk about who makes your mom. Tell us about your daughter.
Oh, my daughter. Oh, she's just wonderful. And I know every parent says that about their children. Like, I couldn't have asked for a better daughter. And her name is Janai. She's actually an artist. So I have another business as well. I manage recording artists. I have a production company and I manage recording artists. And she's one of the artists that I manage. So she's thriving in her career. Her name is Rich Nani. That's her stage name. But she's really, really an excellent little girl. Well, she's not a little girl anymore. She's my little girl, but she's 25 years old. So she's grown. I have an adult daughter.
Well, no, they're never an adult.
Right.
They're always that little baby that you bring home and you're determined to protect. And have you always been a mompreneur? You're a music manager. You're now in the menstruation industry. At what point did you realize that the 9-to-5 life was just not something that you were cut out for?
Well, I worked at a finance company, an equipment finance company, and we got downsized. So everyone was losing their jobs, kind of like what's going on in the economy right now. And I decided that I was never gonna let anyone fire me again or downsize and offer, a severance package. So I got my real estate license. So I'm also a licensed realtor in Georgia, but I got my real estate license and I started venturing out there. I started the patents. When I started the research into menstrual products, because I had to do a little bit of digging first. I had to research prior art, and I found that no one in the space did, if they did collection, they weren't focused on absorbing or actually retaining the fluids. And if they did an absorbent product like a pad or a tampon, they weren't really too concerned about the collection capacity. So I decided to combine the two. And that is what really, really sparked my entrepreneurial journey.
And what year was this that your whole life turned upside down? You got your severance package. You said, absolutely not.
Well, it was
you pivoted.
2013 is when that happened, and I got my real estate license. And then in 2015 is when I first filed for the patent for the menstrual disc. So this has been like 10 years in the making. I received my first patent in 2018. So yeah.
This is incredible. And they always say it takes 10 years to really see the fruits of your labor. So where are we now with the Anew Clean Cup? How have you seen, since your initial disappointment in not the collection capacity, but the exit strategy? So anyone who knows.
Yes.
It's essentially explained. Unlike a traditional tampon that absorbs the fluid, you pull it out, the fluid is in the tampon. With a cup, it's like you literally have a bowl in there and it's just dripping into it like a leak from a ceiling.
Exactly.
And then like the bowl, you have to pull it out, but you have to pull it out at an angle. Hopefully you're over a toilet. Hopefully you have balance.
Right.
What's the difference with your situation? Is it kind of like a hybrid?
It is. So with traditional cups or discs, it's like you have to play a balancing act and try to keep it steady when you're removing it. It's kind of like running across a brand new white carpet with a glass full of red wine. And if you're running too fast, you're going to trip and fall and you're going to ruin that carpet. So with ours, because it retains the fluid, when you experience floods or surging or, really, really clotting, really heavy clotting, our cup absorbs, or gosh, I keep saying absorb. Our cup retains the fluid. It locks it in, and then it has a capacity to collect the clots. So there's no overflow when there's a surge or a flood. Nothing comes out, nothing spills. And when you remove it, it's all stuck inside of the cup.
Well, so on that note, how difficult has it been because generally speaking in the menstrual world, until recently, it's been run by just like 3 people. Recently, we've seen a lot of new players. How is it being a mompreneur in this space with a very innovative product that you've got locked up with patents?
Well, with this, at first, when I saw the competition, I was a little upset because I was like, they're just highlighting design flaws as product features, but it's really not a benefit. It's, like self-empty or auto dump. It's just a fancy way to say leak. So I was like, that's really deceptive, But then in our customer discovery, I learned that women with light to moderate flow, those actually, it does work for them because they don't experience the stuff that we experience with really heavy flows. They may not go through changing clothes twice a day on, heavy days, or embarrassing leaks every single month, or too many times to count during their period life cycle. So I was like, well, you know what? This may be a benefit because they're spending tons of money on marketing and getting the word out about menstrual cups and menstrual discs. So I was like, maybe they're paving the way and they're opening the door, because when women with heavy cycles try their products, when you read their reviews, they're complaining about the messy removal and the profusive leaking. Those are their complaints, and we solved that.
The difference is between being a realtor, being a music manager. You don't have to have a warehouse full of houses. You don't have to you don't have to have a warehouse full of artists. They have their own lives. The house is wherever it's going to be. With this product, how much product do you have to make at a time to make it cost effective?
We do a run of 12,000 cups at a time. That was our first initial run with that. And we actually, with our first short run, we did our customer discovery in a few pop-up shops to test the market and make sure it actually worked the way we said it was going to work and that women actually enjoy it.
Okay, great. So you started the process in like 2015.
Mm-hmm.
You got your patents granted in 2018. What was the process like? Because actually I think it's very smart of you to go slower with something like this, because a lot of people would just say, well, I'm just going to put it out in the market. I was going to do the best I can. But you can't exactly do that. This is a federally, carefully curated aspect of life. It's not just like a lipstick. Like the FDA cares about your menstrual cup.
Exactly. So the process with it is you have to do third-party testing, and we're partnering with NAMSA. They do biocompatibility, microbiological toxicology testing, all of that stuff. Although menstrual cups are exempt, they're with the FDA, they're 510K and PMA exempt. So we didn't have to do that, but we did have to register our company as a specifications developer because we develop all the specs and everything for it. But out of an abundance of caution, we wanted to do the third-party testing so that we could show that our product is as safe as we say it is and that it works the way we say it's going to work and it's effective.
Amazing. When did you get those results?
We got those in December, and we're still working with NAMSA right now to do some more testing with a clinical trial, because they just test the materials to make sure they're safe. They have an FDA safety profile already established, and now we're going through the process of testing it with actual I guess what they say, the in vivo testing.
And for those of us who are not menstrual entrepreneurs, what does in vivo testing mean?
In vivo is kind of like we do a clinical trial. We do a clinical trial
with people, with actual vulvas. With
actual people, yes, with actual people.
That's incredible. So when we're looking at this though, okay, you've had this company for almost 10 years. You've been working on, you've gotten the patents, you've done the clinical trials, you ordered the 12,000. All of this was without really being able to sell it on the market because you're waiting for all of this information. Where did you find the capital and the support to keep going with this incredible idea, but this expensive overhead?
Well, I've been bootstrapping. So I kind of took a page out of Sarah Blakely's book and I bootstrapped. I won a
Sarah Blakely, founder of Spanx, who cut off the feet of her pantyhose and just drove around America until someone said they would make it.
Exactly. So it took us about 7 years, 5.5, 6 years actually, to actually perfect the manufacturing process. Because at first, just like Sarah, I was looking for a manufacturer and nobody could manufacture it. I was sending out specs and they're like, that's not what we do. So we had to figure out how to manufacture it. And I went through 6 molds. Our final product is actually the 7th prototype. So we went through 6 different molds and, prototypes before we got the final design. So that process is very expensive because molding and tooling is not cheap. And I've won a number of business competitions and I've won several grants. We also have applied for an NIH SBIR grant, which we're waiting for the results on that as well.
That's incredible. And so that NIH grant will really, really help with the streamlining of this whole process. Where do you find out about all of this information? Because the way it's just coming off your mouth, many of us have ideas. Like a running joke in my friend circle, I've been trying to reinvent the shower cap for so long. Other people have come along, done a better job. I've been in the patent streets, making mistakes, being an idiot with wasting so much time and money trying to do it that I just finally gave up. I was just like, you know what? Product for me at this stage is not for me. I got 2 little kids. I can't deal with that. Where do you find this information? How do you learn it along the way? Because these codes, these companies, these support systems are just rolling off of your mouth as though you grew up in a menstruation femcare tech company.
Well, no, my degree is in communications and journalism. So I'm astute at researching. But what I do is if there's something that I want to know, of course, I'm going to start researching. You're going to go to Google and you start looking at it. So when I started inquiring about patenting, I interviewed maybe 20 patent attorneys, and they couldn't figure
Wow.
out how to take it from idea to product, or to to put it on paper, from the idea in my head to put it on paper, because I would describe it and then they would say something and I was like, is that what you got out of what I said? Like, no, that's not it. And so through that process, I was researching, and I just happened to come across it on the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office's website. They had this program for small businesses, and back then it was if you made under $100 million a year. And I was like, I definitely qualify. I definitely qualify for that.
You just barely made it under the wire.
I just made it, just barely, but I qualified. And it's a pro bono program where you describe your idea or your invention, and patent attorneys can choose or elect to draft your patent paperwork for you.
Aww.
Pro bono. And so I submitted it maybe in November of like 2014. And then in February, and I forgot I even submitted or applied for the program, because when you submit something, you're thinking you're going to get a response in 30 days maybe. And so November, December, January went by. I didn't hear anything, and it just wasn't at the time of my mind. In February of 2015 is when my patent attorney, who's still my patent attorney to this day, Justin Miller, reached out and was like, hey, I want to, help you with this. And at first I thought it was a hoax or somebody playing tricks, because I forgot about submitting it, because he was like, yeah, I'm going to do it pro bono. And I was like, wait, what? These patent attorneys have been quoting me $20,000, $15,000, $30,000 to draft this, and you saying you're going to do it pro bono. I just have to pay for, the filing fees. And so we connected. I explained it to him, and he got it perfectly. He was like, do you mind if I run this by my wife just to, see? And I was like, no, sure. And she was like, this is great. So he took it on, and my first few patents, he filed those for me pro bono, and I paid the filing fees. So that was a really big blessing and a help. And then I was a student at Georgia State, and a professor of mine, Dr. Monlouis, who wasn't my professor at the time. I went to it was a brunch and learn for women lead, and I wasn't a member of the program at that time, but I decided I wanted to go because I wanted the free food. So I was going to eat. I was going to eat, and I was trying to make my way to the buffet table, and Dr. Monlouis was like, hi, I've never seen you around here before. And I was like, yeah, I know. And she was like, well, what do you do? And I told her about my patent. I told her, I filed a patent. It was patent pending. And I had this great, idea about the menstrual disc. And she was like, well, how would you like to be the face for Georgia State? And I was like, whoa, hold on, wait, what? And she was like, well, we usually have a team for EFEST, but this year we don't have a team for some reason, no one submitted, but your idea and your product sounds great. She was like, you may not win. We only have a little time. It was like in February, end of February going into March, and the EFEST competition was in April. So she was like, schools and teams, they spend months, years preparing for the competition. So you only have about 30 days to prepare. So we may not win, but you could get your foot in the door and get some publicity for your product. So we actually did the EFEST competition, and we won. We won all three, first, second, and third prize.
You won them.
Yes, and no team had ever come in and won all three. It's usually because we were up against Princeton, Harvard, Yale, MIT, and there were some people that had some really, really good ideas, but we swept the
but none as
competition.
Innovative
Exactly.
as the Anew Clean Cup.
Yeah.
And so that's really, those moments like that, you just kept showing up, you were doing your work, you applied for a bunch of things. You didn't get everything, but you have been recognized by some heavy hitters. Draper University, the EFEST, as you said, the Black Ambition Prize, which, when you look at these moments and how each little bit of encouragement just moved you along, which do you think was the most effective in getting you to where you are today being able to place orders of 12,000 units, having your Kickstarter on the way, and with these multiple patents granted and on the way?
Well, I don't think it's one particular thing in and of itself. I think it's a combination of things, and it's a resilience and a determination. So it's just like when you have your mind set on something, I'm a true believer that if I set my mind to it, I can achieve it, whatever I desire to achieve. Like if you give it real focus and real thought and put some work behind it. It's not say think it and it's going to happen. It's think it, ponder on it, contemplate it, and then figure out what those steps, what steps you need to take. So you may not know the full layout of everything that needs to go into it, but if you start somewhere, like I did, start with the research. I'm just browsing the USPTO's website because I'm like, well, maybe I can file my patent myself, which I did try to do and it got rejected before finding Justin.
I have been there.
But no,
I have the rejected patent.
Well, no.
Look, there's one bit of advice anybody can give from this. Don't try to do this alone.
No, but guess what?
You're not going to make it.
But
you're not going to do it.
Guess what my patent attorney told me? They reject everybody's patent on the first time. They reject it. Yes.
No, you mean I could have a shower cap patent? First of all, is it? Wait. First of all, I'm about to say what the blackest thing is. It like disability? Like
it is. They reject you the first time, and you got to come back. Absolutely, it is. It is because he told me. Because I told Justin, I was like, they rejected mine. He's like, oh yeah, they do that for the first time for everybody. And then when he found it, they rejected it too. And I was like, what? He was like, no, that gives you a chance. They reject it because they don't want to do the work of going through all the prior art. So now you have to go through each of your claims and tell why it shouldn't be rejected. Yes.
Oh my God, that's insane.
Yes. And that's what I did.
Why does no one know this?
Because patent attorneys want to charge you again for refiling. But Justin was doing it pro bono, and he explained the whole process to me. So he was just like, yeah. So now I want you to take this and look at every single claim. We had 19 claims, and 18 of them were granted. Only one was rejected because we wanted to patent the string. And they're like, well, menstrual products already have a product with a string, so you can't. I was like, okay. But they accepted 18 of our claims. So that was a really great thing. It's just going back and saying, hey, this claim should be because XYZ, ours does this, theirs does this. You just have to explain it. And then whatever your prior art is, explain why the prior art fails. So with me and menstrual cups and menstrual discs, the previous discs fail because they have messy removal and they don't retain the fluid. So they fail women and they still end up in excessive, embarrassing leaks. So it's, putting stuff like that in there.
This is incredible. I love it. I'm so excited for you. And also, this is why I love this show, because we learn something every time. Who would have thought that a conversation about a menstrual cup would lead to an unveiling of a secret of the patent and trademark industry, right?
Exactly.
They're just rejecting everything. You got to come back. You got to come correct. And you have to really want to do what you want to do, which is why it's so great that you have such a passion from your personal history with clots and heavy periods. Is that what's kept you going all of these 10 years as you finally have gotten to the Kickstarter phase where you could actually make your dreams of bringing this product to the market come true?
Well, yeah. I mean, because I use my product. I use it for me. And so I want every woman to be able to experience the confidence that I experienced during my cycle. Because my cycles used to be filled with so much self-consciousness and anxiety. It used to be like my days used to be planning my day around if restrooms were going to be available. Taking an extra pair of clothes just in case. Planning my wardrobe. My entire wardrobe used to be all black. And it wasn't by design. It was, I guess, every time I went to shop for something, subconsciously, I was aware that I experienced embarrassing leaks more often than not. So I will always opt for the black skirt or the black dress or the black pants. And then it just so happened that a black top goes with it. So everything was, mostly black. So it was just like waking up in the middle of the night to blood-soaked sheets and having to scrub the mattress, having to change the linen at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And I realized that there's so many other women that are going through it and we just don't talk about it openly, that I want them to experience the same type of confidence that I experienced. Like I wear white on my period. That would have never.
You like a commercial. I'm about to hear some music, you like twirling in the little dress with the wind blowing.
Okay, we might need to put that into an idea.
I know. I'm just saying you should. Well, but one thing that's really great about this is, especially in our community, African-American women are very, very susceptible to issues like PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, endometriosis, fibroids, and other issues that cause exceptionally heavy periods. Yeah. So you're just doing such a good deed for us.
Yeah. And that was the thing. It's like, we understand that we have to deal with our cycles, but we don't necessarily want to deal with the messiness. And then if you're a woman with a heavier period, it's just really unfair that the products on the market aren't designed for heavy flow. They're designed for light to moderate flow. So
well, and I get very frustrated. So this is like a whole wheelhouse of mine, right? Mm-hmm. So there are very few ultra, and speak to that. For one, right. There's a lot of liability. Like you've had to do a lot of legwork because you have a product that is actually meant to help people with heavy periods. Because with heavy periods, you know, most of us grew up in the TSS, the toxic shock syndrome days, and a lot of the products that quote unquote work for heavy periods were banned.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, you know, Dr. Philip Tierno of the New York School of Medicine did a study on products with ultra absorbency and organic cotton products. And he found that it wasn't necessarily the amount of absorbent, it was the materials that were being used. So a lot of these products include synthetic fabrics or synthetic materials that create a breeding ground for that bacteria to grow. And he found that in organic products, organic tampons and menstrual discs and menstrual cups, that environment was not created, but it is created with the synthetic fibers. So you'd have to research that and pull that up, but it's not widespread why that toxic shock was such a thing. It was the cheap materials that they were putting it, you know, providing for us to put into our bodies.
And you didn't go cheap with the Anew Clean Cup.
No, this is a premium product, so you might gonna have to pay a pretty penny for it, but what is the price for a peace of mind? You know?
Exactly. Well, and this is your flagship product, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's the first product that your femtech company is coming up with. Where do you see this innovation expanding and the patents that you hold going into other aspects of women's health?
Well, we're also developing a reusable disc that has a fluid retentive element to it as well. So we want to do that. And then there's some other things that go along with our cycles, like keeping our pH in balance. So it's like some pH products, some mood swing products, because I found that a lot of the women with heavy cycles too, which at first when I did this, I was thinking that it was ideal for all women, you know, and then I found that light to moderate flows aren't looking for anything, so they're maybe not my ideal target.
They're a different planet. It's like men are from Mars, women are from Venus. People with heavy flows and people with light to moderate flows, it's like you know, A cup versus double D's.
Yes, exactly.
a whole different bra cup, a whole different menstrual cup.
Exactly. And so and I found that women that are experiencing perimenopause, because we had quite a few in our study, they are experiencing a sudden shift in their cycles. So it's like one of the women in our focus group, she was telling me that her cycles had been normal all her life, and then she went into perimenopause and she was all of a sudden experiencing these extremely heavy clot burden cycles. And she was like, the flooding and the surging, she was like, she described it, she was like, she stand up and she's passing jellyfish. And I was like, if you know, you know, you know.
If so you know, you know. Like,
right. And so it was just like, that was a light bulb moment, you know. So it's just like figuring out who the target is, you know, and it's us women with the heavier cycles, women that are experiencing perimenopause. So we want to create products that are specifically designed for us.
I'm very comfortable with this, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you know, you say jellyfish, you know, I will talk to you about this, but menstrual health still carries a lot of stigma. Mm-hmm. How are you working to shift that narrative and bring more honesty and innovation into the conversation?
Well, we're working to just speak about periods. So initially our product packaging was going to be black to represent a premium luxury brand. But then after walking down the period out and looking at all of the products there, it was like all of them are these fairy, anecdotal, go ride a horse, go swimming. And at that time, we really don't want to do that. We want to be at home eating ice cream under a blanket with our heating pads. So I was like, you know what? Say period. So our packaging is going to be red, bold red and white. And there's no products on the shelves with red. So we redesigned our packaging and everything, and just starting the conversation with saying period. It's not that time of the month. It's not Ant Flow. It's not Shark Week or any of those things. Just openly talking about the conversations and having open, candid conversations like we're doing now.
Period. I love this so much. You've got your Kickstarter, you've got your product, you've got your patents, you've got your clinical trials. What are you hoping to happen? Let's say, so last December is when the clinical trials, we're wrapping up. You're into this new phase. Mm-hmm. This December, your Kickstarter will have wrapped up. What are you hoping 2026 brings to the Anew Clean Cup?
We want to change the way women with heavy cycles manage that time of the month. We're here to disrupt the market and make people, or make the product marketers, product producers, create effective products that actually work like they say they work. If you say your product can be worn for 12 hours, we want it to last for 12 hours. If you say it collects 80 milliliters of fluid, collect it and keep it. So this is going to be a challenge for everybody to step up and create products that actually work. We shouldn't have to double up on period protection. We shouldn't have to wear, an overnight pad with our tampon or our cup or our disc. Shouldn't, like a flight from Atlanta to Miami is 5 hours. We shouldn't be worried about, if I stand up after this flight, did I leak through on this seat? Do I need to wait for everybody else to deplane before I get up? Do I need to tie a jacket around my, waist? So yeah, make them create products that actually work, that are effective.
Well, you're creating a product.
Yeah, so now they're going to have to come.
Be the change you wish to see.
I am. So this is going to be
maybe they won't step up, and you get to just be the one that's, got the receipts. So,
well, I guess what I'm saying, I think what I'm saying is hold the product makers to a higher level, a higher standard, and we're going to set that standard.
I love that. Okay, so you are an inspiration. You have been at this for almost 10 years at this point. If someone's listening and they have something, whether it's my little raggedy shower cap, Lord, I love my shower cap. You might have me digging up my patent to see if I can just, explain, because the rejections are very personal.
Right.
And so, but if some mompreneur has a product, where would you say to start? What would you say to someone who, is inspired by listening to you in your journey?
I would say look at products, if there are any that are similar or like it, and try to, I guess, go back and see how they did it. So if they have patents, see what areas those patents are. If they have trademarks, see what areas they have their trademarks in. Try and do that, and do as much research as you can to figure out, manufacturers. I probably have a database of over 500 or 600 manufacturers because this has been years, and it's just reaching out. Oh, well, maybe this manufacturer can do it. Because I was like, well, maybe a condom manufacturer can make it because the reservoir is thin. Maybe a contraceptive diaphragm, manufacturer can make it. Maybe other menstrual cup, manufacturers can make it. And it was just like, no. And then I found a company that does medical devices because, the FDA classifies, our menstrual disc and menstrual cups as medical devices. And so I started researching medical device company, but they were like, oh, we do catheters, and oh, we do, heart transplant. So it was just like figuring out your lane. So you may not find it on the first search or the second or the third or the fourth or the 10th. But just keep going, keep searching. Like if you are really confident in what you're doing, and your mission and your purpose for doing it, just keep going.
Same with Sarah Blakely, who you said was your role model with Spanx. All it was on a technical level, all it was some pantyhose with no foots.
Exactly.
And I'm being silly with some pantyhose with no feet. But nobody would make them for her. They're like, no. And she just kept going and driving around and going into the bathroom and showing people what she meant. And then finally one place, I believe it was in North Carolina, was like, all right, we'll try. We'll try to make this for you.
Exactly.
And the rest was history. What, out of curiosity, what type of manufacturer finally was like, okay, we can do it? If it wasn't the medical device people, it wasn't the menstrual cup people, who could finally make your product?
Oh, it's an OEM manufacturer that does medical devices and other types of stuff too. They do sports material, they do sports products, they do medical devices, they do a number of things, but they're an OEM manufacturer. And I finally, you know what's so crazy? I finally called Justin, my patent attorney, and I was like, Justin, hey, I can't find a manufacturer to manufacture my product. And he was like, hey, try these guys. So I could have.
Wow. So after all of that, and you know what? Because we think we can do everything on our own, I have learned so much from you. Ask for help.
Ask for help. Exactly. And I asked him, I said, Justin, why didn't you tell me this? He was like, well, because I can't just give you that information. You have to ask for it. You can't, like it.
Excuse me, sir.
I think it's an ethical thing, like him referring me to a manufacturing.
Oh, that's so interesting.
You get what I'm saying? So he's doing.
So it doesn't look like he's just trying to.
Right, yeah. Like, hey, let me connect you with these guys or whatever. And if something goes sour and it's like, well, you told me, but because I asked, now I guess it relieves him of that liability. Maybe, I don't know, but he was like, I had to ask. So.
I love this. You are a font of knowledge and wisdom. This is very exciting. We are very excited about your Kickstarter. And, you know, my favorite segment in the show is what I call Mompreneurs Manifestation. And so I can't let you leave without telling us what is something that you're hoping to manifest for either yourself, your family, the Anew Clean Cup in the next year.
I want this product to be the preferred brand, to become the preferred brand for heavy menstruators, for women with heavy cycles. I want this to be the preferred choice. Kind of like Bill Gates with Microsoft when he wanted a computer in every home. I want every woman with heavy cycles to enjoy the same confidence that I enjoy on my cycle and wear white on her period with no worries.
I love that. It's fantastic. And I don't wish it on your daughter, but did she inherit not just her beauty from you, but also her heavy cycles?
No, she has a very light 3-day cycle. She's blessed. Blessed beyond belief. She does not.
So you will have cycle sisters that are unrelated as you go down this journey of bringing new people into your fold with your company. Tell us, there's a lot of people listening with heavy cycles, with PCOS, with endometriosis, going through perimenopause. Tell them where they can find you and the Anew Clean Cup.
They can find me on all platforms. The Anew Clean Cup, ANU.CLEAN.CUP. That's our Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, everywhere. That's where you can find us. Or they can go to anewcleancup.com. Duh.
Yes, anewcleancup.com.
Yeah.
We appreciate you and thank you so much for all that you do, and fingers crossed that your prophecy comes true.
Thank you so much. It's been really, really wonderful speaking with you.
Yay! And thanks to all of you for listening to and watching Mompreneurs. As a reminder, a brand new episode goes live every Monday on Urban One Podcast Network, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Visit urban1podcast.com to learn more. That's urban1podcast.com.